I want to segue to this point because we've seen good coaches get fired. Why aren't black coaches getting hired in the NFL?
Bro, we already at an hour, bro.
I don't give a good goddamn. Y'all going anywhere? Hey, Eric, Mark, Chris,
Bro,
Junior, y'all going anywhere?
I am going somewhere.
Okay, my bad. Shit.
But no, like, bro, it's Art Rooney II came out and said what we said maybe 2 years ago, and people criticized us then. Like, I'm not trying to toot our home, but we have been way out in front of this Rooney Rule, man. We looked at it when we first started this podcast, and I specifically said, if you're not going to do the rule to fidelity, then get rid of it. Essentially, what the rule is just a check box. It's almost like if you work for a major corporation, anybody who has a job at a major corporation right now in the last 2 years, your job has been sending you to diversity training. Now, jobs never did that, but all of a sudden, all jobs are starting to send, especially if you work at a big company, you're going to diversity training because it's a check box. That's all it is. So it's like, it makes the people who send the bag down feel better. At least we've been giving people opportunities. But if you're just checking a box with no intention to hire them, then get rid of the rule. Because I know for a fact there is some black assistant coaches and coordinators in this league that are better than some of these head coaches hirings that we've seen. And are they better? Remains yet to be seen. So let me take that back. They are more qualified right now than some of these head coaches hires. And it's the same thing. So I'm just not sticking with black. It's the same thing that I said about Steve Nash. There were white coaches that were overlooked because that was a popular hire. You see what I'm saying? Just because of the name and the attention that he's going to bring. But you overlook some good NBA assistants, black and white, to hire this man. And I think that might be a mistake on the Nets' part.
My thing is, go ahead. All right, my thing is, what we've talked about is the goalpost always moving. When we talked about the Rooney Rule, we talked about how we need to get a pipeline because they keep black people out of these offensive coordinator positions. No black people are considered a guru. And when you have a good young quarterback, because the quarterback is the most important position on the field right now. It's a passing league. It's a quarterback's league. When you get that quarterback, you want your quarterback to have a relationship with his offensive coordinator / head coach. And that's why we talked about, the Buccaneers getting rid of Lovey for Dirk Cutter, and then they went to the shit. But here's my thing about moving the goalposts. You have a quote unquote up and coming young quarterback with the Chargers. Everyone thinks that Justin Herbert might be the guy. They go for Brandon Staley, who's on the defensive side. He was a defensive coordinator only for a year. Yes, he actually was a college quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. But my whole thing is, what have you proved on the offensive side of the ball? Bruce Arians came out and talked about how Byron Leftwich couldn't even get an interview. But I've seen coaches who have coached with Sean McVay, never called plays. They just happened to be a quarterback coach. They were just in the room. They got interviews. Nick Sirianni, I mean, we didn't necessarily talk about him as lighting the league on fire with that Colts offense. Nobody thought about him being the new hot coordinator, and he didn't think he was the new hot coordinator because this motherfucker was on vacation, didn't even have a suit ready for an interview for a head coach. If I'm on vacation and I'm like, you know what, somebody might be calling me for a job, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna at least take a suit. That motherfucker didn't think he was gonna get a job. And so my whole thing is, they will do everything in their power to find a white dude that we've never heard of and get the hot young guy. But as a black dude, you got to go through the works. And so, Eric, I get you. In all fairness, you don't think Byron Leftwich is a good coordinator.
He's a Super Bowl coordinator.
But he's a Super Bowl coordinator.
How many of those are around?
Exactly. Dan Campbell got the job. He got the job in Detroit. Do you think Let me ask you, do you think he's a good coordinator? We don't know because he's never been a coordinator. Do you think Zach Taylor is a good coordinator? We don't know because he was a interim offensive coordinator under who? Dan Campbell. Because Joe Philbin got fired. So he got promoted.
But you said, you said Eric up because it said, Eric earlier said they're not getting hired because they're black. Like,
yeah, no, he did. What I'm just saying, he did say that.
But yeah, saying, you got to get full context and for the listeners that's not watching the live.
Okay, no, I get that. I get that. But what I'm saying is, how many not good coordinators we've seen get jobs?
A lot.
But when we had Hugh on here, what was one of the questions that I asked him? I said, if the hiring process is based off relationships, who do you have a relationship with?
That's right.
Right.
That's
now,
right.
man, he might not have disclosed all his relationships. I know he said Marvin, cool. But my question was, I'm like, who do you have a relationship with? Because everybody that's been hired, well, the majority of the people that's been hired have a relationship with somebody, or they're a part of this hiring firm that gets people hired. Deion Sanders said he didn't even know anything about this hiring firm until he already had his job. So that's already, so if you're not even in consideration of being in consideration
I feel you.
Of the hiring firm, you can't even get to the relationship part. So we already put us back. So I'm asking you, how do we build relationships? I asked y'all this last year when we had this Rooney Rule conversation. As I said, how are we going to build a relationship? Because everything is built off relationship. Cannon highlighted said Fortune 500 companies, right? You said that, right? Even them, they can have exquisite resumes, top-notch resumes. They still don't get in the door without a relationship.
Yeah.
Even if they still got a top resume, they still got all that. Because you can't come in the door without all that. I mean, some people, you know.
No, you can't come in the door. You're right, bro. You can't even get in the door.
But I'm saying,
all that.
But it's still a relationship. So how are we going to build this relationship? Once again, you say you want to get rid of the Rooney Rule. I'm not one of the ones that want it, because we're not even going to get it. They're not even going to consider us if we don't have the Rooney Rule.
Oh, absolutely.
They need to implement prerequisites at this point. You have to be a coordinator, or you have to be a coordinator. At least minimum 2 years. We got to do that. And I don't care, white or black, purple, green, whoever. If your ass is not a coordinator, and for at least minimum 2 seasons, you don't need to be in the head coaching position. You already skipping steps. Come on now, we got to.
But that's the thing. It's certain people that can skip steps, and it's certain people that can't. But here's my thing. We want to talk about relationships. Look around the league. What's most important in the league? Analytics. Where do they teach a lot of the analytics? Ivy League schools. If to get into coaching, guess what? You need to, if you want to have analytics and be a coach, you're gonna have to come from an Ivy League school, and you're gonna have to take a $30,000 job. If I'm a black man from an Ivy League school, I am a fucking unicorn. You think I'm about to take a $35,000 scouting job or a quality control coach?
Listen, it's Black History Month. We are one of the few podcasts that's actually had a black NFL coach on here, and we asked him this question, and he flat out told us his answer was the goalpost is going to always move.
Absolutely.
He says when he talked about that firm, if we now start joining the firm, they're just going to put another stipulation in front of that. They'll just stop using that firm to hire. If that firm starts offering mostly black candidates, or even half black candidates, they're just going to move and change the policy. And that's the way the league has been since the beginning of time. I don't see the league changing in the near future. Unfortunately,
here's my thing. Here's my thing.
You can't tell billionaires what to do. At the end of it, you cannot. You cannot tell them. So we can't keep complaining at this point, because that's
my thing is we can't keep complaining, but what the fuck can we do? Because if you think about it, it's literally just the black quarterback conversation moved to the head coaches. Because remember, black quarterbacks couldn't get jobs in the NFL because they felt like, oh, our white players ain't gonna listen to them. we can't have a black quarterback as the face of our team. Our fans aren't going to listen to this person. Our team isn't going to be motivated by this guy. Now it's our head coach. He can't be the face of this team. He can't go out here and do these interviews for us because he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not smart enough. He doesn't fit the mold or whatever the case may be. And honestly, that is what we're seeing. We're seeing the black quarterback conversation go to the black head coach conversation. It's always been there for years, but now guess what? It's more it's more popularized because now we're talking about it every day. And what I completely hate is how every single season we're having the same conversation.
Correct.
We talk about how the media has so much control and they control narratives and stuff like that, but you're not putting enough pressure to make owners speak out up against it. Because guess what? Now you're asking Pat Mahomes to come out. You're asking Bruce Arians to come out. You're asking Andy Reid to talk about it. No, they're not hiring the black head coaches. You need to talk to these owners. But Jerry Jones talked to the radio every week. Robert Kraft talked to the radio. You know, all these you need to start asking these owners why Cal McNair, how did your chaplain become your GM? How did somebody who was leading your team in the pregame players become a decision maker? I ain't never seen no black dude do that in nothing. I've never seen no water boy.
It's a waste of time, bro.
Correct.
Everything that black people have ever achieved in life, they had to take it. Same thing with white people. Anything they've ever achieved in life, you had to take it. You would never get justice. This is Malcolm X said this. You would never get justice by asking for it. You feel me? So Tony Dungy has showed black people the blueprint on how to get other black people into the league. When you become a head coach, you have to reach back and put those coaches on. So Tony Dungy has a tree of 6 head coaches. I'm going to read them off.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Go ahead. I just want to get to this Junior. I want to get to Junior statement here.
He's put on Herm. So leave it up there. He's put Herm Edwards on. He's put Rod Marinelli on. He's put Lovie Smith on. He's put on Jim Caldwell. He's put on Mike Tomlin. And he's put on Leslie Frazier. Now, when you look at those other coaches, who have you put on? Who have you put on? So when we look at the issue of black coaches, we got to start right there. Black coaches, next time you get hired and you have any responsibility where you could do some hiring, it's your obligation to put black coaches on. Nepotism is the way of the world. That's how they do it. That's how we got to do it. And until we follow Tony Dungy's blueprint, we're going to keep having the same conversation every year.
But it's flawed, Cannon, because yes, we got to put black coaches on. But look at Bruce Arians' staff. Everywhere Bruce Arians go, he hired black folks.
No, he does.
Look at Dan Campbell's staff. Dan Campbell put all the brothers together, and they're like, even if you get a black person on your staff who is, I won't say worthy, but is in that conversation of my accolades and my resume is on par or better than the people that I am on par with, then guess what? I should be there, because we're talking about look at the staff, look at who, look at Tony Dungy's blueprint, but look at Leslie Frazier and what he's did. Look what Jim Caldwell did in Detroit. Jim Caldwell got the Lions to the playoffs, and we don't think shit about the Lions.
But it ain't about getting them to the playoffs, bro.
But that's what I'm saying.
No,
okay. So Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy, what?
But listen, bro, it's about changing the narrative. Those were just head coaches that I told you that he put on. I didn't even get into his other lineage of his tree. You see what I'm saying? So Harry Bontefelli and Sidney Poitier said the same thing when they became actors, right? They always got bad roles, like a black gangster or a black criminal or a black person that was going to be arrested. And they said their family starved turning down those roles because they knew for the culture they had to turn down those roles and only accept a role where a black person would be the lead detective, a lawyer, somebody that was educated. They took that sacrifice. So if you're saying, how are we going to make a change? I'm saying if we're waiting on other people to make the change for us, it is never gonna happen. We got to make the change for ourselves, and that's the only way that we're gonna ever level the playing field.
I'm with you 100%. Once we get the job,
Yeah,
like
no, I'm saying.
yeah,
When I said
like,
of course you got to get the job,
and then like you said, you do your part after that, because like you said, you could once you fire me, you got to fire the whole staff, like you said.
But there's been some black coaches who have got the job and have not that was my point.
Yeah,
those black coaches are that's where the ball is dropping. And so if they're dropping the ball, how can you say to a white man, why aren't you hiring black players? He's like, look at these black people who have hiring power aren't hiring black players or black coaches, my bad. So it's like,
but at the simple fact that, like I said, if they started making it a prerequisite, if you got to be a coordinator, you can even
that was the best. No, that was the best solution that you said.
You can even be a special teams coordinator. I don't give a damn. Coordinating 2 years, like you said.
Yeah.
And then
no, that's the best solution.
Then at that point, then we can see. We were like, you know what? We see his work. We see his resume. We can see what he do. So then we won't really be upset. We can be like, you know what? I can understand why he got that job. I can see why he got that job. Oh, he may should have got that job over him. I get it, but I can see why they went with him. Like you can see it. Like for prime example, you can see why Arthur Smith got a job. He did a good job in Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? You can see that. Like, but you can see Robert Salah getting the job with the Jets. You be like, you know what? You did a good job. But what you can't see is Nick Sirianni or whatever his name is.
But my thing is coaching trees plays a big part in stuff, right? And we see a lot of like coaches, they get jobs based off of their coaching tree. Like how many, like Dan Campbell was Sean Payton's assistant head coach. He was never a coordinator, but he was an assistant head coach. And so people believed in him and they figured, okay, you know what? He's been with a coach with an offense that we feel, hey, you got a pedigree. If this Houston job wasn't as shitty as we've thought it to be, was David Culley gonna get a head job?
Hell, man, that boy 65 and 65.
He's 65 years old, but guess what? He's been Andy Reid's assistant head coach before. So I don't think that he was never gonna get a head coaching job unless this job was as shitty as advertised. He gonna get this 5-year deal. He gonna be 70 years old, and then guess what? He gonna retire and get this head coaching money and walk off in the sunset.
Heard 3-man lead and JDF linking up soon. What you say, Cannon?
I was gonna say like that's a fact what JDF said, but what Mark Dave said down here is Tomlin has no control over his staff. Ownership has full control, and see that's one of the problems right now. Okay, that might be true, right? But you have influence, Mike Tomlin. You've been in that building for years now, and you can't go upstairs and say, listen, we need to bring this person in as coordinator, or we need to.
But that's my point. That was my point earlier when I said that they don't believe that we can be decision makers.
You gotta make them believe, bro.
How?
Question.
Go ahead.
The Rooney Rule is named after them.
Exactly. So if you're not selling them, that's on you.
Yeah, like so.
If I had that job if you give me a job for 12 years, 13 years, however long he's been over there, somebody in that damn building with authority will be listening to me by now. Especially
not necessarily.
Listen, that's what you're saying. I'm trying to tell you, any building that Cannon has ever been in for a long amount of time, people of importance listen to me, bro, because that's the way that I have carried myself, and I have made so. Even if I went there and they told me you're not gonna have no say so on this, I will keep proving them and keep saying it, just like I used to do to y'all. What I used to say when we wanted to start a pod, get the pod after everything, until it became so annoying that Hill said, "Damn it, get the pod." And so I do that on my job. I keep saying, "Hey, look at Cannon doing this better than everybody else."
But that's my thing.
Maybe y'all should listen to Cannon, and eventually they're gonna say, you know what?
We can listen to Cannon, but guess what? You're not trying to convince billionaires on something.
Bro, yes, I am. I am trying to convince billionaires.
Look, bro.
I work for a large corporation. I'm trying to convince billionaires, bro.
Is it working?
Yes. Yes, it is working.
Well, the motherfuckers who create Kraft cheese and all these other motherfuckers who own these NFL teams, they not listening because once again,
That's
to me, but no, it's not because
I'm talking about the comment. I'm talking about the comment, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, because my whole thing is Tomlin is still getting coaches added to his staff that he didn't necessarily want, but you get a motherfucker like Bill O'Brien go down to Houston and get all the power in the motherfucking world. You see what I'm saying?
Because he demanded, he negotiated for that.
No, he got the white skin. I mean, the right skin to actually be able to negotiate at the table for it. I'm sorry. I'm really going like look.
Not 100% true though, but
we're like, no, because we can't dance around this. We can't
Tomlin
say
went to school with the last offensive coordinator. He went to school. He worked with Keith Butler before. These are two people that he brought on his staff that he has a relationship with. That's why we're not about to continue to let. He had a relationship with these.
Okay, but yeah, if just because some other people come in that I may have had a relationship in, if you're putting someone on my staff that I don't want, that means I don't have total control. If you can bring somebody in here that I don't agree with, it's
lobbying for it, bro. But if you accept it year in and year out, you would never get it,
bro. You think Tomlin didn't say, "Nah, I don't want him," and they didn't have veto power? They can maybe like Keith Butler. They can be like, you know what, we agree with you. We think Keith Butler is
willing to leave, bro, in order to get it. No one told him he had to stay there. He chose to stay there this long.
That's my point.
Let me finish.
He didn't leave because
exactly. So if you want to make those changes, when Dungy went there and he told him, he said, listen, this is how it's gotta be if you want me, or else you don't get me. He bet on himself. Now, Mike Thomas said, he took a different approach to get his job. He said, I'll do whatever y'all say. That's his choice, bro. But what I'm telling you is that if we are going to stop having this conversation year in and year out, it's going to take for people like Mike Tomlin to step up and buck the system, bro.
Okay,
that's
so if Mike Tomlin said, you know what, y'all not hiring enough black coaches in the NFL, fuck y'all, I'm out. Do you think that's going to be any incentive for them to hire black coaches? Or are they just going to be like, you know what? All right, we'll promote your white offensive coordinator.
Already aren't hiring black coaches, bro. Like,
so leaving is not going to get anything done,
bro.
When they suck, fuck you,
bro.
What do you mean leaving that? If the people that created the Rooney Rule is not adhering to the Rooney Rule, and he bring that to their attention, that's. Like I'm confused.
Bro, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, but he didn't do it because he loved black people.
No, that's a great point, Hill. And that's what whenever I get into the room with these people of power, I always use what they say against them.
It don't matter.
Hold on. You keep saying it don't matter, but it's working for some black people, bro. You cannot say that. And I'm not just talking about football. So if they created the Rooney Rule, like Hill said. Y'all not living up to it yourselves. And if you continue not to live up, I'm going to have to take my services elsewhere. If Tomlin leaves, he's a shoo-in to get another job.
Instantly.
So it's like, leave, bro, and then go somewhere that's going to give you control and then hire who you want.
But
if you just
my issue is not with if Tomlin leaves, he can go anywhere and get a job. My issue is not the motherfucker that we all like is the hot name that we all know can go get a job.
Those are the ones that gotta make the sacrifice.
But my issue is with the running backs coach, the wide receiver coach, the quarterback coach.
Those people to make sacrifices.
But no. Let me finish. That's my issue. If we can pull out these random white coaches out of anywhere, the Nick Siriannis and all of these motherfuckers, the Zach Taylors to get the jobs out of nowhere, and they ain't prove shit. But that's what I'm saying. So why the fuck are we sitting up here trying to have this conversation like we don't know that this shit is rigged? It's never gonna work. It's never gonna work for us. It's never gonna work for us.
You have to fight the system, and that's what I've been saying.
You can't beat the motherfucker with trick dice. You can't beat a motherfucker with trick dice, bro. It's over. I don't care if you call sevens. If a motherfucker got trick dice, it's gonna come up snake eyes,
bro.
All
I'm saying is Tony Dungy did it, bro. And so you keep saying it's not possible. He did it.
Bro,
He
black
did
coaches,
it.
black
He did it, bro.
bro, the black coaches have winning records through like the cumulative of black coaches have winning records. It's not that we're not good coaches. Yeah, Tony Dungy,
They like analytics, right?
Bro, but that's what I'm saying. There's nothing in the analytics to say that black coaches are worse than white coaches, and they love analytics, and we still not getting the job. They love prolific offenses. We coach prolific offenses. We still not getting it. They want leaders of men. We lead the men. The league is 70% black, and we still not getting the job,
black
bro.
people, AJ, why would I if I'm white? You see what I'm saying?
Bro,
I'm not arguing your point. I'm just asking you to listen to mine for once, bro.
I hear you. What I'm saying is,
you're not listening, bro.
I do.
If a black man won't hire another black man, what incentive does a white man have to hire him?
If a black man succeeds under the white man,
no.
But I'm saying, regardless, if a black man succeeds under a black man, and he's still not getting hired, what incentive do they have to?
They're not. I give up, bro. I give up. You got it on this one. We just got to stay the course, and we can talk about this next year.
Episode 95.
Because we're going to talk about it again next year.
Episode 95.
We don't have to.
It catches all major podcasts. I mean, it's going to be a reoccurring topic.
Every year.
They make some changes.
But they're not. And I just offered a sound change, and even AJ don't want that change. You see what I'm saying? As a black person, he don't want that change.
How can you tell me I don't want the change when I've seen Tony Dungy bring in Jim Caldwell? I've seen Jim Caldwell come in from.
Tony Dungy
but did Jim Caldwell get the same shake that? Did he get that same?
Did he try to do the same thing?
I'm talking about Jim Caldwell in his job. He succeeded in his job and he got fired.
Bro, he didn't succeed like Dungy, bro. Stop.
He didn't. He succeeded better than Matt Patricia. They didn't give a fuck about that.
Patricia's done, bro, as a head coach.
I got a devil's advocate for you, though. And we're gonna leave off there because I don't even want y'all to answer it, though.
All right.
What head coach from the Steelers staff, from Mike Tomlin's staff, became a head coach? You might not even want that damn job. Yeah. Todd Haley was a job before he got there, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't got a job now.
I didn't hear your question. My bad.
Who became a head coach for Mike Tomlin's staff? Nobody.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's my point.
Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-man wing. We come at you with topics. No, you cannot stop it.